Hello, welcome back to the channel. Oh, this again is messed up. Alright, there we go. So, in today's video, we are just doing a follow-up on, I think it's been like a few weeks actually since we uploaded the video of, you know, what was it called? I think How I Met Jesus or something. Something of that sorts. And we said we were going to have a follow-up video, which we never got to the follow-up video. This is going to be that follow-up video. So, how I encountered Jesus was in that first video, and this is how the flame got ignited. Now, I stopped going to church for quite a while. In the meantime, from then until now, at the time I was working at Raising Cane's, I was going to church maybe once a month. I would make excuses like I wasn't feeling well, or I'm tired, or just little dumb excuses that I kind of regret now, because now I go every single week, go to Bible study every week, unless they reschedule it or whatnot for like weather and other things. But before I started going back, this is when I really wasn't going much. I have a few friends I used to work with, and the one friend is Liz Murray, and the other friend is Zaire. And they used to work at Raising Cane's with me. Now they're doing their medical field stuff and yada yada yada. I'm not going to get into that because that's not for this video. But they we were all working one day, and what's weird is she came back to me and was just preaching about how God is good and God is this and Jesus is that, and I'm like, I'm losing my faith. I've really stepped out of my faith, and I was just kind of doing my own thing, living my life my own way that I wanted to. And she was essentially just, preaching over me in a way. And honestly, I think it was God using her as a messenger, because we started talking about some things. I can't really remember exactly what we started talking about, and then I was like, alright, I'm going to go to church this next Sunday. And she's like, God is good. God is good all the time. Can't wait for you to get back to church. So I go to church that Sunday, and what really made me know that God is real and Jesus Christ is real is when I went to church. They don't go to my church. I went with my dad, and this was maybe maybe 3 or 4 days after. I think it was like on a Thursday or a Friday. She had mentioned to me about her being saved and finding Jesus and all this stuff. And I go to church, and the priest did like the gospel, and then they have the sermon. And in the sermon, he was talking about how he used to be very, very into his faith, like I was. Something or the other came about where he lost his faith for a few years. Kind of my situation. And then he went to work one day, and a buddy from his work had basically mentioned to him, about God and how they found Jesus and how they found God. And it was really weird because he was explaining it, and he was saying, he basically was saying that he feels that that person was used as a kind of like disciple, a disciple of God and a disciple of Jesus, to bring him back to his faith. And he said that the lady at his work essentially preached to him and brought him, back to that point in his life where he was at. Now, what I think is really weird is it's the exact same thing that happened to me. One of my friends, who I worked with, basically brought me back to my faith as a disciple of Jesus, of God. Both the same thing, both the same situations, both were losing our faith, both stopped going to church, both had a coworker at work kind of just, it was just all weird and it basically was like, it was like God sent a disciple there to preach. And what made me think it was really weird on top of that was that I was like, I'm going to go to church. And I feel like God used her to get me closer to God, get me closer to Jesus, and then I went to church and he used the priest as basically as a speaker to be like, yeah, this is exactly what you experienced. Like the whole thing tied in was very, very, very weird. Um, and I just had to sit here and explain that to you guys because God is so good in so many ways. You just have to trust and believe and put your faith in him, and he will show you. This is gonna be a one cut, one take, so I'm gonna be stuttering a little bit and saying a lot, and I'm really, really tired. So I'm just making this uncut video on exactly what sparked my faith. Is it took somebody who I would have never believed was a believer in God, in Jesus Christ. Liz, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Shout out to Zaire as well. I would have never thought that he would have used her as a disciple to speak to me, and then me go to church, and then him use the priest as another disciple to explain to me the same scenario that I had happen at my work, that quote happened to him at his work, the exact same way, the exact same, basically word for word, the same exact thing. And I just think God is so good. That's gonna be the end of this video. And yeah, it's been your boy Health Place, and I'm out. Peace.